everyone, and welcome back to STEM Powered. Today we're going to be talking about graphing. At some point in your educational career, you're going to have to graph an equation. There are so many different types of equations, and when you put them together, you can even create a picture. Graphing all of these equations can sometimes feel overwhelming, which is why the Women in STEM Club's Vice President Elisabeth is going to give you a crash course on all the different types of graphs that you can create using DESMOS, a free graphing calculator.
Let's get started, y'all. So first, for those of you who don't know DESMOS, here is what DESMOS is. It's a free online graphing calculator that lets its users explore math in new and exciting ways. And it wants to build a world where every student learns math and loves learning math, where the students' access to the power and beauty of math doesn't depend on their place of birth, race, ethnicity, gender, or any other aspect of their identity. I just pulled this straight from the DESMOS website. So anyways, we're going to move on to some functions that might be useful if you want to create a picture of your graph. So I think a very basic one that we all know is a point, x and y. As you can see, I've put 0, 0 here, and if you zoom in, you can see my point 0, 0 there. There's also a linear equation, y equals mx plus b, and this just creates a straight line like so. You can also have a quadratic, and this one creates a curvy line. There's also circles, like this. But what you can also do is have an ellipse, and it's almost like a circle, except that you can change the width and the height as you please. Here's some other ones, such as a square root, absolute value, which creates this sort of V, a root function. And the thing about root functions is, depending on what number you have over here, it will look a little different. So as I keep doing this, it gets more like this, and when you make the number really high, it almost looks like a right angle right here. However, if you have it with an even number here, then it looks quite different. It actually looks more like this. The domain won't go below 0 because you can't take the even root of a negative number. And like so, as that number keeps increasing, you have this kind of like right angle, more straightish line here. So these are power functions. So y equals x to the third, y equals x to the fifth, and y equals x to the 701st. That's a big number. And as you can see, that 701st creates this kind of like straighter line. However, again, it looks different with power functions that are with an even number here, because it will always be positive, like so. There's also exponential functions, such as this, or this. And actually, y equals 1 to the x creates a straight line, and that's because 1 to the power of anything will always be 1. You can also have a log function. It looks like this. And then these are two very useful functions, sine and cosine. They do look pretty alike. The only difference is the phase shift, but they are nice for creating waves in your pictures. And inequalities are super useful too if you want to take advantage of colors, as so. And a great thing about DESMOS is you can actually import your own images into here. So as you can see here, I've pulled a nice little butterfly. All you need to do is click this plus button and click image, and you can just upload whatever image you want. So now, moving on to translations. Let's say all of these are parent functions, but you want it to look a little different. Say you want to shift it to the left or right. So here's our parent function, y equals sine of x. If you want to shift it to the right, make a minus sign over here. If you want to shift it to the left, use a plus sign here. If you want to shift it up, use a plus, but it has to be on the outside of the function. Over here, it's in the inside of the function, with the x in parentheses. If you want to shift it down, then use a minus sign. If you want to shrink it horizontally, then do something like this. And now, as you can see, the graph is a little skinnier. If you want to make it wider, you can use something like this. And for these numbers, this should be above 1, and this should be between 0 and 1. You can also do a vertical shrink, like so. And now, as you can see, it's smaller. It doesn't go up quite as high. Or if you want it to go up higher, if you want to make it bigger, you can add a number between, well, not a number between, a number bigger than 1 over here. You can also flip it horizontally. As you can see, now would be here, would be positive here, would be negative here. or you can flip it vertically. So as you can see, what is positive here is now vertical. What's positive here is negative here. You can also have x as a function of y. I know you're usually used to y as a function of x, but having it like this allows you to create the graphs with in a different angle. A super useful thing is being able to restrict domains. Okay. So let's say you have cosine of x, and you only want it to be where it's above 0. So you would put in curly brackets here, x is greater than 0. If you didn't have that, then it'd just be cosine of x. But since you want it to be above 0, you can just do x is greater than 0. And there you go. Now it's above 0. You can also do the same thing with circles or ellipses. As you can see here, I said y. I only want the y to be between -3 and 3. So as I restrict the range here, now it is only between -3 and 3. So a super cool thing about DESMOS is that you can also do animations. So here's my little squirrel friend right over here, and he's just standing still. But let's say maybe he wants to move left to right. So let's make him move left to right. By making a variable here and adding a slider and pressing the play button, you can make him move however you want to. You can also do really cool things with animations, such as moving them in circles, like so. And now this butterfly is Squirrel's friend, and they're playing together. Isn't that cute? Okay, so some final tips before you go ahead and do your own DESMOS art. I'd say start with a rough sketch so that you know where you want to go with this project. And then you can also search up functions if none of them are here. For example, let's say you want to make a heart function. And as you can see, oh look, there's already a DESMOS here. And maybe you can just take this and copy and paste it into your own graph. And there you can see, now I have a nice little heart. You can also use this drop-up menu to access a variety of functions. And you can also use this plus button to make different things, such as notes and folders. You can see I've been utilizing them well. This is a note, and this is a folder, and it's expandable so that you can group your functions together however you want. And the settings button allows you to do plenty of things as well. So let's go into settings, and I can change the color like this, or I can make the lines dotted, such as this. I can also change the opacity here and the line thickness. So there's a lot of useful things you can change in settings. So before you share your project, make sure to make a DESMOS account so that you're able to save your work. And then also make sure to press save, because I'm sure you don't want to lose your hard work and progress. And when you're finally done with your project, just upload the link to our discussion board in Schoology, and then you're all done, and we'll share it all next week. Thank you.
Thanks, Elisabeth. Now let's look at some pictures that the Women in STEM Club created using DESMOS. Those look great, everyone! Now remember, even though graphs can be used to create fun pictures, they are also used in many STEM-related fields, including architecture, epidemiology, statistics, and atmospheric science. These are just a few of the many careers that use graphing, which is why it is helpful to have a good understanding of graphs. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss one of our activities. Bye!